welcome. Thank you for watching this training presentation about the Zero Waste Ambassador Program. This training and program are offered by CSULB's Office of Sustainability. Under the Department of Administration and Finance and Beach Building Services, the Office of Sustainability oversees university operations' commitment to lowering carbon emissions and waste production levels through behind-the-scenes work at the university, such as changing the way that the pyramid's waste cycles run, as well as through the education of the university community. And this is where you come in. So here's the agenda for today's training and the information we will cover. I will go over each point in detail as the presentation continues. So, what exactly is the Zero Waste Ambassadors Program? You all have seen the words before signing up, so here's a little bit more context about the program itself. The Zero Waste Ambassador Program is a volunteer program founded by CSULB's Office of Sustainability, and it engages students and members of the university community as a whole to be involved with the university's zero waste goals. It aims to bring CSULB in line with the university's Climate Action and Adaptation Plan, or CAP. CAP is a comprehensive plan for CSULB to take action in the midst of our planet experiencing rapid climate change. It encompasses what we are aiming to do in our own community to contribute to global action. It aims for 90% diversion of all waste from landfills by 2030 produced at the university. It calls for us to reapproach how we think about waste at our university. Lastly, it helps to ensure CSULB is complying with state law SB 1383. SB 1383 is a state-level law that aims to reduce California's contribution to global climate change through diverting organic waste from landfills. About half of methane emissions in landfills come from organic waste improperly decomposing. So, why is the university aiming to follow quote unquote zero waste guidelines? What does that mean? Why is it important? So, the Zero Waste International Alliance is an organization which CSULB looks to further guide its own operations for its zero waste program. We will use this quote to define zero waste. The conservation of all resources by means of responsible production, consumption, reuse, and recovery of products, packaging, and materials without burning and with no discharges to land, water, or air that threaten the environment or human health. Essentially, what this quote is saying is that zero waste aims to rethink the way that we as a society approach waste. Waste creates numerous issues for the environment and our health, which we will cover in a moment. Here at CSULB, our Waste Not program aims to bring zero waste ideals to our university. Here we see an image of the zero waste hierarchy, a system in which we are aiming to think of waste at CSULB. First, we want to rethink the way that we use materials. Then we want to reduce wherever possible, following by reusing materials, then recycling, and then responsible disposal. The Zero Waste Ambassadors program focuses mainly on the recycle and responsible disposal sections of the hierarchy. So, what's wrong with landfills? Why are we trying to divert organic waste from them? Well, there are multiple reasons why landfills are not a long-term solution. Typical waste streams in America, which include landfills, have both negative environmental and health impacts, including the ones seen on the screen currently. This does not follow a circular system in that materials that come in are not reincorporated back in the beginning of the cycle. Materials are used to produce, use, and then disposed of. This wastes valuable resources in the long run, such as land, material, such as plastic, glass, metal, paper, and more, and makes our population sick. So it then reduces the total amount of people that can contribute valuably to society. These are just a few reasons why landfills are not part of a sustainable future and why we need to rethink how we approach waste streams. So now that you know more about zero waste and its importance on campus, where does the Zero Waste Ambassadors program come in? How will volunteers like you work to make a difference? So here are a few points about your role as a zero waste ambassador here on campus. The Office of Sustainability has implemented green bins in the pyramid as a way to pilot test what it would be like for composting bins to be everywhere on campus. We would like zero waste ambassadors to supervise the new compost bins and ensure that patrons are correctly sorting their waste. During pyramid games, a lot of waste is generated through food and beverage consumption, and this provides a large opportunity for us to divert much organic waste from landfills. This also brings awareness to sustainable practices on campus, which zero waste ambassadors will play a large role in spreading awareness. Furthermore, zero waste ambassadors will help with data collection following pyramid events. We will conduct waste audits, and following the waste audits, we'll figure out trends over time as to the impact of the green bins and zero waste ambassador supervision on the pyramid's waste streams. Lastly, every event counts. Each time they help out at a pyramid event, zero waste ambassadors will be doing their part to fight global climate change. So here you can see all of the compostable products used in the pyramid's concession stands during events. All food waste and most paper products can be composted. So we can see popcorn bags, napkins, paper-only coffee cup sleeves, parchment paper, food scraps, paper boats, wooden cutlery, and paper trays. Why are these items compostable? Organic fibers are easily broken down by microorganisms and turned back into fertile soil, which is scientifically what happens when something is composted. So, food scraps come from plant and animal-based organic material and therefore can be broken down by these microbes. Paper and wood packaging are made from plant-based fibers and do not contain metal, plastics, or quote-unquote bioplastics that cannot be properly broken down by composting microbes. In the pyramid, only bottles and cans are accepted in the customer-facing recycling bins. Therefore, these should be the only items entering those bins. You will commonly see bottled Pepsi products as well as beer cans in the recycling and possibly other bins. These items are recyclable because they are made of purely aluminum and hard plastic. These materials are easily recyclable and valuable to recycling centers, and therefore they will successfully become recycled when given to these centers. In terms of trash, the most common items that you will see are these Pepsi cups, plain plastic coffee cups, coffee and drink lids, and flimsy plastic or chip bags. These, unfortunately, are not compostable or recyclable and therefore must go in trash bins. The lids are too small to be processed by recycling centers and will fly off any recycling processing machines and therefore must go in the trash. Mixed material items, such as the cups we see on the left, which are mixed with plastic and paper, and then the bag seen on the right, which is mixed with plastic and metal, cannot be properly recycled. Because of this, they must go in the trash. The machines at recycling centers cannot separate these materials properly. So why are none of these items compostable? They cannot be digested by microorganisms that break down organic material because they are made out of inorganic material. While they can, in theory, decompose, it takes up to thousands of years for them to do so, whereas organic material can decompose in just a couple of days, weeks, or months. So, to reiterate, paper that is lined with plastic and polymers is not compostable. One way that you can see if it is or is not compostable or lined with plastic is through the shine. So you can see in this Pepsi cup photo, there is a shine on the edge of the cup. That is indicative of a plastic lining. Bioplastics, even those labeled as biodegradable or compostable, are also not compostable at CSULB. Unfortunately, our waste hauler who collects all waste from CSULB does not accept these materials and therefore they will be thrown away. So, following a pyramid event, we will conduct a waste audit. Now, what is a waste audit? A waste audit consists of examining and weighing contents of diverted material the next business day following a game. For example, if a game's on a Saturday, the next Monday, we will go out, take the collected compost, weigh each bag, and calculate the contamination rate to figure out how purely and successfully compost was diverted from landfills. Why are we doing this? We need to gather data and evaluate the success of our waste diversion and education efforts. This is a slow process, and we need solid proof that what we're doing is working. So here's a timeline of what it will look like from when you sign up to be a zero waste ambassador to when you complete your duties. Step 1 is to view this training presentation. You're already doing this, so you're off to a great start. Step 2 is to complete the comprehensive quiz. Nothing to worry about. It's not going to test you and give you a grade, but it is going to ask you some short questions to check your understandings of your duties as a zero waste ambassador. Don't worry if you get a question wrong. We will have time before the game that you've signed up for briefly to review content and duties. Step 3 is to sign up for at least one shift using the sign up link that will be emailed to you. Look for an email with a link to an Excel sheet where you will fill out your name and select what your association with the Zero Waste Ambassadors program is. Reminder, if you are not a service learning student or you completed your service learning hours requirements, the more shifts you sign up for, the more entries you get to win one of 3 prizes. Step 4. If you are supervising a pyramid game, meet at the ground floor yellow entrance of the pyramid under the stairs an hour before game time. You will be handed uniforms, walkie-talkies, and we will briefly go over the duties and what you are expected to do as a Zero Waste Ambassador at this event. If you are conducting a waste audit, you will meet at the BBS office on 1331 Palo Verde Avenue on CSULB's campus. Step 5. If you are attending a pyramid game, once all volunteers are gathered at the yellow entrance, uniforms will be distributed and we will enter through the staff entrance and take the elevator up to the main concourse. If you are conducting a waste audit, once all volunteers arrive, the supervisor will lead them through the courtyard to then measure and examine compost bags from the most recent game. Keep in mind that certain games will be pulled for trash and compost bags just to double check how much compost is actually going in the compost bin and how much compost is still being taken to landfills. Step 7 is to check out with your supervisor at the end of your shift. Return any materials given to you and confirm you are leaving and give the time you are leaving. Finally, we will talk about the prizes. There are big prizes for those of you who sign up to Zero Waste Ambassadors. One lucky winner will earn the choice of a semester campus parking pass, a semester campus bus pass, or 2 day passes to Knott's Berry Farm. Every time you complete a shift, either a compost supervision or a waste audit, you will earn 1 entry into the opportunity drawing. However, if you are a service learning student, this only applies to you for every shift that you complete after completing your required hours for the class. The more events you volunteer for, the more entries you receive. I will now provide the QR code to fill out the comprehensive quiz and provide the opportunity to ask any further questions. Scan this QR code to fill out the comprehension quiz to make sure that you understand your duties as Zero Waste Ambassador. Filling out the form confirms your attendance for this training, which is required before completing any Zero Waste Ambassadors activity. Thank you for watching the training presentation and choosing to be a Zero Waste Ambassador. If you have any further questions about the program, our office, or sustainability at CSULB, contact me directly via email or our office through the phone number and website below. Thank you again.